let's get to scarlet colored glasses. And we're going to talk about all things Husker football and just football in general. And since this is all tweets of the week here, these are some of the ones that came out over the last week that I thought were interesting. And we'll start with an NIL one. And from Darren Heitner, he talked about how Adidas just opened the door to big brand NIL wars. It is offering all athletes at each of its sponsored schools to be paid affiliate ambassadors, roughly 50,000 athletes. This will put pressure on Nike, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and other major brands to offer nationwide deals. So we've been hearing a lot about NIL, and we've been talking a lot about NIL. Now we're talking big time, national players coming in here, and the money's starting to flow around. Thoughts on this?
I think it's super smart from Adidas. They've kind of, I think, been, I don't want to know if I want to say looked down upon as kind of like the, redheaded stepchild to Nike and some of the other brands. And so I think it's kind of a big deal for them. And I would like to get a Diet Coke sponsorship.
Yeah, you can say it, Meg. That's fine. We're not privy to any brand here yet. If you want to knock Adidas, go ahead. With their quality alternate uniforms they've turned out with us over the years that they, I think, work on the night before they're due in most cases. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I guess I'm kind of curious to see how Adidas is going to work this out. Is it the same amount to every player? Are they going to give different amounts to different sports or different players based on who they are? I'll be curious to kind of see how this works out and what approach they're going to take on it. So, because that'll raise a lot of questions and issues too. So, but it's probably deserved, I suppose, given a lot of publicity the athletes do give these major entities like Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, whatever, what have you. So, And I will also make a Diet Coke sponsorship and back in the stadium. So I'll second that.
Definitely.
Redcast Rob is back. How are you doing? Can we hear you?
No, he's just very stoic.
He was back, and then he just is not back again.
Yeah, he's just.
Our answers are perfect. He has nothing else to say. So,
Rob. Okay,
we're just
going to live TV, folks. So. Oh, there
you go. Rob, you may need to reboot or something. But, anyways, yeah. So as far as the NIL goes, there, I thought something. We talked with Tyler Kai last week, and he's the associate athletic director for leadership gifts and capital projects at UNL. And he sent out a couple things here. One of them was thanking a group of Husker Fund members who attended the football practices last weekend. And then in addition to that, we talked about the Go Big project, and he listed out all the things that are going to be part of it. 315,000 square feet facility. It includes sports medicine, strength and conditioning, equipment room, football locker room, football offices, football meeting spaces, all athlete academic center, and all athlete training table. And he wanted to make sure that people understood the Go Big campaign fundraising is ongoing. Every gift gets us that much closer. But what I thought was interesting and how this ties in with the NIL is a statement that he made here. I'm going to play it for you about how NIL actually can affect fundraising on events like this or big facilities like this.
It will be our home for a very long time. And in the landscape of what NIL is doing with fundraising, it's possible that this could be one of the last large facilities across the country as other people are looking at what they're going to do from other schools. So,
Boomer, let's talk about that for a second. I mean, there's a finite amount of resources, I guess, that anybody has, right? So if money is going towards players now, if that's what someone's donations and everything would be going towards, would be NIL towards a player, then the possibility that it's not going towards a facility is, I guess, a real thing there.
Yeah, one of the things I do recall from my high-quality economics degree I got at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln was the concept of scarcity, that there is ultimately a limit to the amount of anything out there. And that is a reality. I mean, there's only so much money that people have to put towards sports of any kind, whether it's a donation, whether it's buying tickets, whether it's, buying the gear, taking the family and kids out, or whatever it is. And that is interesting when you think about that NIL could potentially siphon money away that would normally go to the schools for projects such as this and go directly to players. And as I was thinking about that, I wonder if that might serve as an impetus to one of the things Steve Sipple mentioned when he was on the other week about how he thinks in 3 to 5 years, the universities may be taking over this NIL thing. And that may be a reason for it if they don't feel they're getting the money they need to build facilities, make improvements, because we all know that's still going to continue. I mean, other schools aren't going to let themselves fall ultimately far behind in this. They're going to have to find a way to get these things done. And so they may the schools may get together and decide this is why we need to take control of NIL internally and do it through the schools. So that way we just get all the money in, we control the resources, and that's how it's dealt out. So they can deal it as appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Well, one way that you can make some money is you can sell some tickets to events. And we have a great event coming up next weekend. It's the spring game. And on his Husker Radio Network appearance, Alberts said that there had been 42,000 tickets sold so far for the April 9th spring game. Now, this was as of March 24th. He would like to get that number above 50,000. Also, the new field turf going in will be just one shade of green, not the two-tone for the turf nerds out there. Are you a turf nerd, Meg? I mean, is this going to break your heart to see us go back to one color, or what are you looking for there?
We're back, baby. One tone. That's what we've been needing this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of losses during on that old turf. Let's rip it out, and I mean,
it's gone.
Totally
We're
gone.
starting fresh.
But I'm always such a two-tone ska fan. The specials or madness. I just don't know if I can embrace just single tone.
So, Rob, let's see if Rob is back now, because I don't know if you're frozen or can you talk? Do you have anything to say?
I can talk. Am I frozen sitting here? Like, can you guys?
No, you look
see
as good as
You're
you've done all
good
night,
now.
actually. So
Do
whatever
this.
you've done, keep doing that. Yeah.
Really quick. Yeah, he's good.
Okay. Okay, cool. I mean, two-tone, one-tone. I just want wins. I mean, I don't really.
Well, obviously
care
they're
what the field
connected.
looks
Rob,
like.
so.
What's that?
It's all connected,
Oh,
obviously. So,
Well,
yeah.
I was just trying
Right.
to think, like, maybe some people say it's the stripes on the pants and on the uniform. Some people say
Also very possible.
all red, all white, all black. Like, I don't know. There's a million
Okay, stripes on
different
the
things.
pants. I'll start. Meg, yes or no?
Mhm.
Stripes on the pants.
Yes.
Yes. Rob,
Yes.
Boomer.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. Nebraska, it's a fact. Nebraska looked at its absolute best, just appearance wise, in the '95 Orange Bowl. How we looked playing against Miami, the shade of red was a kind of a dark red there, and the two stripes and everything. And then the next year, '95, we switched to Adidas and those white pants with nothing on it. Not a fan. Was not a fan.
Boomer would prefer leather helmets, though. So I
Well, that
mean,
is true.
that's
And I actually want the stripes kind of running, around the pant leg and shirts like they used to in the teens. So, and I mean the 19 teens. So
I'm actually down with that. I'm not gonna lie. I think that would look super cool and extra baggy too, right?
Okay,
Like,
the worst uniform, 2002. That year, we
Those
went
that
7 and
thick
7.
stripe.
Oh,
Someone
those are-
posted that. I was like, these are terrible. I don't remember those at all. I think I blocked them out of my memory or something.
that's the wisest choice, Meg.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
bad.
It was big in the pros that year. I remember like the Broncos having a big orange one, on a blue. Yeah, it was awful.
Are you
They were
okay?
terrible.
sorry, he said the B word.
Yeah, he's a Raiders fan. All right, so we'll move on. More tweets of the week here. We're still in the football section, and now we're going to talk a little bit about Husker football here. And these are a couple about wide receiver coach. Football Scoop said that the highest paid wide receivers coaches in college football, the 2022 edition, and number 6 is our Mickey Joseph, who also is more than just a wide receivers coach. He is the pass game coordinator, and he's like associate head coach as well. But he's going to earn his money right now, because in the last week, something that's happened since the last time we did a Redcast was Xavier Betts, his absence. He's essentially off the team right now. I don't know what the final status is, if they've come out with it, but it certainly doesn't sound good that he's going to be around. Anyways, Mitch Sherman wrote some thoughts. The Xavier Betts absence is a major development. He's a high-end talent. No indication of what happened, but I can say that Mickey Joseph is going to coach these Nebraska wideouts hard and expect more from them than what they've experienced in the past. What I will say, if anyone, did you guys have a chance to listen at all to the Sharp and Benning podcast that they did that morning? I mean, it was pretty
I'm
heartfelt.
so glad they did that too.
Oh, Damon I even DM'd him just to say thank you for doing that, because I thought it was really good. And look, Meg, they're not robots. These are people, and they're kids. They're people that, and in the case of Betts here, I mean, Frost has always said, if you don't love it, if you don't love football, Joseph said, if you don't love it, it's going to be hard to do all the work it takes to be great. And Betts just might be not loving it.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, it's not going to work out for everybody, right?
Mhm.
So I guess like in my life, I have never been somebody to like if I don't like something, I'm gone. Like if I'm not getting out what I thought this was going to be, or even if I just am like, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. Like I've grown, I've changed, I'm ready to move on, then move on.
Well, but the important thing though, for especially the real frustrated realist fans out there, is that this is only us. We're the only school that has this stuff happen. And what is wrong at Nebraska? We need to get rid of coaches. And what's this tweet? This just in: since the end of the 2021 season, Maryland has lost linebackers Brendan Jennings, Terrence Lewis, Dominion Robinson. All three were either 4- or 5-star members of the Terps 2021 recruiting class. Now, I bring that one tweet up, but I could have brought up tweets from virtually every other school that have gone through similar things too. I mean, top-ranked players, 4- and 5-star guys coming and going. It does. Look, it stinks with Betts because I have so much hope that he was going to turn out to be this all-American kind of player for us. And I think he has that kind of talent. But that's something that Joseph from day one when he got in here, he's like, look, the talent's there, but he's not consistent, and that's what I'm gonna bring out of him if he wants to do it. And if he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to. I mean, that's just the way it is. So,
Hey,
I can't imagine at this point, like in how long the transfer portal has existed, still thinking we exist in a bubble and we're the only school that has players transfer out. Like, I feel like this is just the way of the world now. And you either accept it and you learn to live with it, or you don't.
Well, Hockey, I'm having all kinds of issues tonight, so I apologize.
What is wrong with
there?
you?
I'm dropping things. I'm everything.
Shape up,
if
man.
you recall too, in the text thread that we have here, and I didn't put it out into the world because sometimes I just don't feel like doing that. But I did put in the text thread that Joseph kind of brings something new to the table, right? That other coaches in the past haven't brought. As far as like accountability and expectations for wide receivers, like playing on special teams. And some people just aren't built for that sort of thing. Like their entire life, they've kind of been coddled as an athlete. A lot of these guys were the best player on their team in high school, right? Like all these guys were. And so I'm sure that they've been treated a certain way. And sometimes just some people, when put under certain types of, even in your day jobs, you're put under certain types of management, i.e. coaching, whatever, it gets to a point sometimes where maybe, you won't love it anymore because maybe you're asked to work harder than you're used to working in a lot more aspects than you've had to work before. And, I don't blame the kid for that, because if you don't, like Meg said, if you don't love it, we don't expect you to be here, because we just want kids that love it. And I wish the best for Betts, but at the same time, it's like, we need a bunch of guys that are going to be putting the work in out there.
Yeah. And that's the truth of, football. It's one thing, gosh, 70-degree days in September in front of 90,000 people. I mean, it's just amazing. Those are amazing, glorious days and reasons why you want to be a football player. But it's those 5 a.m. mornings in February when you're doing things, when your friends who aren't on the football teams aren't doing those things. I mean, those are every bit as important. In fact, I mean, those are what make you the great players, the great teams months later. And so, I always think about that with I remember Brett Favre, would always want to sit out, camp. I mean, that stuff, you get to a point, it's like, that's not the fun part of it. And, but it's especially at these developmental levels, which is what college is still for these guys. Every one of those off-season practices and everything, it's important. And, I'm glad. I think we have the right leadership in place. I really like Joseph leading that room. Speaking of leadership and of the different rooms that we have on the football team, how about the running back spot? And this was one from Stephen M. Sipple, and he wrote about Husker QBs are going under center to take snaps, and Brian Applewhite likes it. Quote, first of all, there's always something to be said for I'm going to run the ball there, and you've got to stop it. Love that.
I love that.
I mean, it's Big Ten football, right? It's toughness. We're going to run the ball. It's everything that, I know when Whipple got hired, Rob was singing, if you want to pass the ball, you must Whipple. But there's going to be a running game, and getting under center, I think, is a huge, huge piece of getting that running game going. It gives some better sight lines, everything for running backs. And also especially when we're in like short yardage situations, goal line situations, I mean, that's what I want to see. So That's a big move. I mean, I don't know what percentage exactly it's going to be, but to get under center is going to be a big deal.
I feel like that was one of the most common things screamed at television sets across Nebraska last year. Go under center. Like, how many times? I lost count.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, if you think about this, I would say there's two things that are happening within the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, on offense and defense, that are kind of big storylines in spring right now. Offensively, we're going under center. Okay, that's a big deal there. Defensively, and I'll bring up this slide. Defensively, with the D-line, here's D-line coach Mike Dawson on the progress of the young group of D-lines. It's not like they go out there and say, you know what, I think I'm going to do the exact opposite of what he told me to do, but sometimes it just looks like that, and it feels like that as a coach. And then it comes down to developing good habits over time, likes young talent. Weaver flashes his athleticism. Hutmacher has to take off the chart's weight room numbers and translate it onto the football field. The point with the D-line, I think the change in the D-line, and this is something I talked to the coach that was at the high school coaches clinic last weekend, and he said that Dawson referenced this, and I've seen this in other places too, where he referenced that we'll probably be in the four-man fronts 80% of the time. That's a big difference. You know, if we're getting under center on offense, and if we're in a four-man front, meaning that you're probably going to have Garrett Nelson and some of those outside linebackers lining up on the D-line. They're going to be out, this is going to look like, in a lot of cases, it's going to look like 1995 kind of, players, size-wise. You're going to have DNs that are 250 pounds and two big old D tackles in the middle. That's quite a change from last season.
And we all know how switching to an unexpected odd or even front can completely throw off an opposing offense. So we have that to look forward to as well.
Do we do the Diaco thing in spring game and never line up and do a completely different defense for the spring game? That would be pretty apropos. Comment wise, Boomer, do we have anything so far coming in the comment section?
Yes, we have several things so far. Let's see. First off, we've got a comment from Abby Harris, just saying we made it. So that's good. So Justin Eller commenting, Meg, I believe it's focusing to you that you're famous. So that's always good. So it certainly wasn't me. So yeah, nobody cares about that.
It's not always good.
No, that's true.
but sometimes.
At least you didn't say you were infamous. So that's good.
Yeah. So. It probably should have.
And I thought I'd throw out the 2002 Husker uniforms right there for those of us too young to remember that, or those of us with PTSD from those. Yeah, they were not good.
It hurts.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And there's a sharp 1913-ish look we need to go back to right there.
Those are slick.
Yeah, where's Waldo-esque? Sure, but Adidas, you could do something with that. I mean, come on, make that happen. So. And then, we do have another question from Brandon Hill. Is Betts officially transferring out? He hasn't been on social media in the last couple of days. That's usually good advice, Brandon. I would tend to avoid it whenever possible as well too. So I don't think there's anything official on Xavier Betts that I've seen. I don't know if you have, Meg or Honky, seen anything yet. So I think that's still kind of up in the air what he plans to do, and if he even wants to play football anymore, he may not transfer anywhere. So I guess we'll see on that. So
yeah, I haven't heard anything beyond that, but it doesn't sound good that he'll be back with the Huskers at the very least. So I know he met with Frost last Friday, and certainly no new news came out that was, that he had changed his mind. Speaking of that, infamous, would you say we're infamous, Boomer?
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, that's more than famous, right? Isn't that what that means? Yeah, infamous.
So famous. Well, a guy that's really famous here, the next tweet of the week, and Meg, I want your thoughts on this one here. Paul Feinbaum, the guy is he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And he says, is there anything in college football history that can compare to a retiring Coach K making the Final Four? And to which we tweet out seriously with 3 question marks. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Storybook ending to a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, Mount Rushmore, a coach of his specific of the sport. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Can you?
No, I've got nothing. No, nothing. 94, 95, 97. It's like something that's like stuck in my head. I don't know why, but
like finished 60-3 over the last 5 years. Played in
I'm trying right now. I've been doing so good on like this live thing and holding in expletives. So I'm just not going to talk about Paul Feinbaum.
3 undefeated seasons in his last 4 years.
Like really good choice by me. I'm very adult.
Go Coach K though, and that's wow. Well, we're going to finish our football talk here, and this is on a positive note. And one of our former coaches, and we've talked very highly of Coach Held, and it was sad to see him be fired at the end of last season, but he's now at Northern Arizona, and yesterday, Alabama. I'm sorry, Northern Alabama.
Sorry.
And anyways, but he was back in Lincoln for he goes, I'll always have a special place for Lincoln, Nebraska as I drive away today for the final time. I feel very blessed to have worn the N as a player and a coach. It meant everything to me. North Alabama is my new home. Great people and a great opportunity. Hashtag new chapter. That was so classy. I mean, we retweeted that immediately and just we wish him well. And those are the tough things in these coaching changes. There are real lives and families that are affected by them, and especially when it's a former Husker too. We felt the same way about Greg Austin. It's just sad to see, but that was really classy on Coach Held's part.
Yeah, that's really cool.